The world is facing major upheavals. In this report, we will analyze the most pressing global issues using insights from various news sources. Stay with us to understand how these critical events are impacting nations, economies, and the daily lives of people worldwide. Welcome to AFRIMEDIA Rwanda, your trusted source for in-depth news analysis and the latest updates on world affairs. Today, we bring you the top trending stories, including significant political changes, international relations, and entertainment controversies. U.S. State Department orders shutdown of USAID overseas missions. In a surprising move, the U.S. State Department has announced that USAID will shut down its operations in multiple countries, with all employees being recalled to the U.S., except for those deemed essential. This decision signals a major shift in U.S. foreign aid policy, raising concerns among countries that depend on USAID for development, healthcare, and infrastructure support. The move is expected to have severe consequences, particularly for African nations. What does this mean for global development? A sharp decline in U.S. aid and support for countries facing crises and poverty, a shift in U.S. policy priorities, possibly focusing more on domestic issues than international aid, diplomatic tensions, as nations that relied on USAID may lose trust in the U.S. and reconsider their alliances. This move could also negatively impact the U.S. itself, as some of these partnerships were mutually beneficial. Massive protests erupt in the U.S. over Project 2025, and executive orders. The U.S. is witnessing large-scale protests, with demonstrations in all 50 states against the Project 2025 initiative and new executive orders from the administration. Protesters argue that these policy changes could reduce civil rights and reshape the U.S. government in a concerning way. Authorities have deployed security forces to major cities such as Washington, D.C., New York, and Los Angeles to manage the unrest. Key issues driving the protests: proposed changes to government institutions, increasing presidential power, stricter immigration policies, which could limit asylum rights, environmental deregulation, favoring fossil fuel industries. These decisions appear rushed, particularly in immigration policies, as many refugees contribute to the U.S. economy by filling essential jobs. Additionally, environmental rollbacks contradict the global movement toward clean energy. If the U.S. promotes coal and oil use again, it raises concerns about the effectiveness of its climate commitments. Saudi Arabia rejects normalization with Israel without a Palestinian state. Saudi Arabia has officially stated that it will not establish diplomatic ties with Israel unless Palestine is recognized as an independent state with East Jerusalem as its capital. This announcement shatters hopes for a new peace agreement, especially as there were rumors that Saudi Arabia was considering normalizing relations with Israel under the Abraham Accords framework. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been pushing for a deal, but Saudi Arabia insists that Palestinian statehood must come first. Why does this matter? The U.S. may need to step in diplomatically to resolve tensions. Saudi Arabia's position could strain relations with pro-Israel nations. The Palestinian movement might gain more support, as other Arab nations could follow Saudi Arabia's stance. Do you think Palestine should be independent? What would be the global impact of such a decision? 4. USAID faces leadership crisis amid policy changes. The USAID agency is experiencing internal turmoil, with many employees placed on temporary leave, except for those in critical roles. There are speculations that USAID may be merged with the State Department, effectively dissolving it as an independent aid agency. Analysts warn that this could significantly reduce U.S. humanitarian influence worldwide, as fewer aid projects would be funded. Potential consequences: suspension of development projects in struggling nations, job losses for USAID employees, and a decline in U.S. humanitarian efforts. A growing role for private organizations, which may take over responsibilities previously handled by USAID. 5. Benson Boone apologizes after controversial Grammy Awards incident. In entertainment news, musician Benson Boone has issued a public apology after facing backlash over a controversial incident at the Grammy Awards. Boone, who was nominated for multiple awards, was caught on camera in a heated exchange with other artists, leading to widespread speculation about behind-the-scenes conflicts. The singer took to social media to express regret, stating that he hopes to learn from the experience and avoid similar situations in the future. Industry reactions. Some fans support Boone, arguing that he was standing up for himself. Critics claim his actions were inappropriate and unprofessional. The Grammy Awards organizers have not yet commented on whether Boone will face any consequences. I personally believe that standing by your beliefs is important. Being a leader is not about avoiding conflict, but about standing firm in your principles, while also knowing when to make thoughtful decisions. Conclusion: these stories highlight the rapidly changing global landscape in politics, economics, and society. From large-scale protests in the US and leadership changes in USAID to Saudi Arabia's stance on Israel, these are critical developments that demand close attention. Stay connected with AFRIMEDIA Rwanda for verified news, in-depth analysis, and expert opinions on the world's most pressing issues. Thank you for watching. If you found this report insightful, turn on notifications, like, and share it with others.